And you've also, quote, expressed your frustration with the neoconservatives hijacking America's foreign policy.
Well, the neoconservatives, but also the neoconservatives in particular, because their area of expertise and focus and obsession really is the Middle East. If they're concerned about other countries that aren't in the Middle East, it's only because there's a link to the Middle East. I mean, if they care about North Korea and China, it's only because of the impact or relationships that they have in the Middle East. So the neoconservatives are obsessed with the Middle East, and to that extent, yes. But the old Cold Warriors, the conservatives, the Democrats who were known for their strong defense perspectives and appreciation, these guys also are inclined towards war, and they're inclined towards a Cold War picture of how the world should be, and that is America on top and all the other countries kind of genuflecting, at least to our will, and that kind of thing. So they agree with the overall agenda. And so it's not just neocons. And yes, of course, neocons, the neoconservative thinking on the Middle East is very explicit. Okay, it's very detailed. They want very specific governments in countries like Iraq, or whatever Iraq will be. I mean, I think there was to break Iraq up into ethnic enclaves would have been, I mean, it's been written about, it's been advocated. The neoconservatives see that as a way of reducing its potential as a political power in the region. If countries like Iran are infuriating because they don't bend to our will, and a lot of the neoconservatives can be credited with explicitly laying out a roadmap. I hate to use the word roadmap, but they have a roadmap for the much larger area, and that has served as a guide. But there are many more people in this country who aren't obsessed with the Middle East, but what they do like, or what they are prejudiced towards, is America on top view, America in control view, America unchallenged militarily view, a very strong defense system, and an aggressive offensive position. They like that. And the other thing that you have to realize, which has nothing to do with policy really, but has to do with economics, is the defense industrial establishment in this country. I mean, when we build an aircraft carrier, every district every district represented in Congress contributes something to the aircraft carrier. So it becomes a domestic policy issue. We don't really, maybe you don't want the aircraft carrier to go threaten people, but you certainly don't want to get rid of the aircraft carrier, because that's going to relate to jobs in your district. And we are a democracy in a sense. This becomes a domestic, how can I get elected? And you're not going to get elected by reducing defense expenditures, as they've become so important to the American economy in the past 50 years. And so, you know, there's a lot of reasons why, you know, the neoconservatives certainly are the brains, I think, and the visionaries on what the Middle East plan should be. But it was easily sold to America because it fits in with both how conservatives and liberals see our country.
From what you have obtained at the Pentagon, what will be America's role in the Middle East?
What it will be, I can't say. What it was expected to be and designed to be, and the 9/11 is certainly used to facilitate and expedite this. We wanted bases, permanent military bases, in Iraq, being a perfect, beautiful central location. We were having, we had bases in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. Kuwait is a tiny little country filled with American bases. It's bristling with American military technology and soldiers too. Saudi Arabia had some bases, huge, very unpopular amongst the Saudis, certainly popular amongst the House of Saud, but not amongst the Saudi people. And certainly as a site of religious holy locations, to have, I hate to use the word infidels, but to have non-Muslims there and have them with military stuff is just a big problem for the country, a political problem for our allies, the House of Saud. So we needed another place to move those facilities and those operations. Iraq is beautiful, ideal, central, wonderful. Of course, we have the base in Qatar. We have several bases in Qatar, Navy, I think, and an army, a couple army depots, and then there's a big Air Force base down in Qatar. We had those under construction, but it's too far south. It uses up a lot of gas if you want to deal with what you would call the greater Middle East. So Iraq was the perfect geography, the perfect territory for new, permanent, high-tech American bases, so we've done that. We went in with the objective of quickly and easily toppling the government. Initially, we would put in our own guy, like, Chalabi, and we would have a puppet country. But the permanent bases, which we have to this day, which we are operating, which we are not leaving. Obama says, oh, we're bringing home combat troops, except for 50 or 60 or 70,000, which will operate these military bases, these massive modern American military bases that we've put in Iraq. So that's part of the objective. Now, Afghanistan, the same thing. And of course, there's, I haven't mentioned this, and many people do talk about this. Part of the interest that America has is not just the neoconservative vision, it's not just support of Israel, because that's a big part of it. And there's no doubt that that is part of why we have pursued this investment in the Middle East.
According to Kwiatkowski, America's future role in Afghanistan will be long-term and permanent, the cause of concern for many of Afghanistan's neighbors.